everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So, I'm still in bed for filming. Oops, Mandy's all bright and white over there. Look at all the bright whiteness behind you. It's like bright. I love
My
it.
shelves are still messed up, but
Yeah,
hopefully,
but it's so much brighter in your
better.
room.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. So, this video is about those trigger warnings that we see in dark romance that make us want to read the dark romance book. Is that how we're describing this? These are the trigger warnings. They're like the shopping list for what we want.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those who like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you like dark romance, then this should be your jam, right?
Yeah, exactly. So before we get started with that though, Mandy, what do you want to tell them?
Well, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. And hit that like button as well. And comment and let us know what are some of your, as Jessica put it, what are some things you're looking for on that trigger warning shopping list when you're reading dark romance? Tell us in the comments below.
Okay. All right. So I don't know. I know we kind of talked about this last night. What I did was I went through my dark romances that listed the trigger warnings, and I was like, what is like the one thing out of this list that I look for? And I just chose one thing for each one. I don't know if you chose multiple, but I chose one thing. So, all right. So let me just cough and try not to hurt myself real quick. Okay. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is one that you guys will hear about in our 1 minute book recs coming up on Monday because I just finished it. And that is Red Rabbit by Devin Rivers. I didn't realize this is a duet. There is a second book, but that's okay. We're just going to talk about this one. So this one, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, when you look at the trigger warnings, yes, it's dark. Yes, it's crazy. It gets really crazy at about 20% in, but this has plane crash as one of the triggers. And I love a survival romance. And I love a romance where there is a plane crash or, I don't know, a boat crash or something like that. So that's why I grabbed this one. So this is about Kaylin. And she is in her later 30s. She's like 38. And she works for the government. And she is getting on this plane. She's been visiting her friend in the Arctic Circle who does something with polar bears. He's like watching, I don't know. Yeah, she's a polar bear person. And so she's been visiting her for a while. She is engaged and she's getting on this plane to go home. And her fiance is being a complete douche canoe. And she has the phone on speaker. She's been trying to take it off a speaker. She gets it off speaker. She looks up and there is a U.S. Marshal and a guy in handcuffs getting on this little tiny plane with her. And she didn't realize it was going to be a little tiny plane. And the guy, so she's sitting up front with the pilot, the guy in handcuffs is behind her with the U.S. Marshal, where their plane doesn't make it to its final destination and it crashes and they're out there surviving. Now, this is a why choose. There are people that show up later in the book and you have to wait for that. But oh my God, I loved it so much. But this is dark. Like this is dark. Just giving you that. Yeah, dark, but I loved it a lot. Mm-hmm. It has some of my other favorite ones too, but the plane crash did it for me. So
you do like a good plane crash.
I do. Not when I'm on it though. Thank you. No. Okay. What's your first one?
Okay, my first one is Silas by Lane Hart and DB West. This is part of an MC, I think it's called Dirty Aces MC series. So Cora is hired. Oh, and the trigger for this is Captor Captive, which is a great one from the shopping menu list, if you ask me. But there's a little bit of a catch with this one. So this one's kind of, can dark romance be fun? I don't know. It's kind of
in my book it can.
Fun. So we have Cora. Cora is hired as a personal chef to this mob boss. And while she is there preparing a meal for him and some of his, I guess we'll call them colleagues, somebody comes in and just starts shooting everyone. She hides in the pantry and basically they know she's there and they let her go and it freaks her out. She goes into hiding and doesn't know what to do because she knows that they saw her. but she can't really identify them. The police then come and interrogate her and basically try and get her to confess that she knows more than she does, but she is just so freaked out. When then the FBI shows up and says, "Hey, we're taking you into witness protection. Come with me." The trick is, though, and this is not spoilers. You can read all this on the back of the book. The trick is that it's not the FBI that comes to get her. It's Silas. And he is taking her to hold her while they figure out what to do with her because she saw everything go down. So she thinks she's in witness protection, but really she's being held. So I really, really love this one. I read it several years ago
You
and
did.
it was
Because
great.
I remember you talking about it a couple of different times, and it's one where I was like, damn, I need to read that. And I still haven't. So I need to do that. By the way, what is your shirt? I just realized what your shirt says.
It's
Take
the
a look. It's in a
rainbow.
book. I love it. That is so cute. Okay. I love that one. Okay, so the next book I have goes along with your Captor Captive because it is Captor Captive, but she also lists it as Stockholm Syndrome, and I love a good Stockholm Syndrome. So I have, it just sounds really bad. Hold on, I can't do both here. Better
The
Run.
things that you're into right now do make you very questionable.
They do. So this is Better Run by Alina May. I read this a couple of years ago. I didn't realize she's actually put out a second book. When I read it, this was a standalone. Now it is a duet. So there is audio now. So I actually downloaded that to read this week because I want to read the first one again and then read the second one consecutively. So this is an MFM. This is about Jaden, Mary Jo, and Cole. So Jaden has been stalking, and I just say this was Stockholm Syndrome. Like, this is the thing. Okay, so he's been stalking Mary Jo for a while. She did something that has him obsessed with her. And so he, after the stalking, decides to abduct her and take her to this cabin in this remote area. When she gets there, she realizes there's another guy there. Like, after he kidnaps her, there's another guy there, and that is Cole. Cole and Jaden are really close. And, they're really close. And they're very cruel to her. They're very mean to her. There's obviously a lot going on here, but when she finds out the real reason as to why they have kidnapped her, then the game is on and she realizes she has got to get out of there no matter what. So that's why it's called Better Run, because she's like, I'd better run, kind of a situation. But they kind of force her to play the game, and I'm just Stockholm syndrome sets in. Then when it sets in, you don't want to leave ever. I loved this one when I first read it. It had its little moment, its little claim to fame there for a hot minute, but I haven't heard it talked about in a while. So I thought this was a good time to bring this one up again because I really want to read that second one and see if it's any good. Go.
All right, so my next one has quite the list of trigger warnings, also Captor Captive. But our hero has a personality disorder where he does not understand emotions and feelings.
I love that.
So this is the gap. You're talking made me laugh. Okay, this is The Bad Guy by Celia Aaron. So we have Sebastian, who, like I said, he does not read emotions. And he is infatuated with Camille, like really, really likes her. And he wants her, but he doesn't like understand like how to cultivate this relationship. So he just takes her. He creates this elaborate scheme and kidnaps her. And from there, she believes that she's going on this research trip that she's been very excited about getting to go on. And uh-oh, that's not where she's going. She has a boyfriend already as well, but Sebastian doesn't care because he doesn't care about emotions and feelings. He just knows for some reason he wants her, so he takes her. And like, I don't understand what she's complaining about because he knows how much she loves plants and everything. So he sets up this elaborate greenhouse with all these different plants for her and basically lets her do whatever she wants as long as she stays there with him. Like, what more does she want from him, right?
It sounds like a real hardship to me.
I know. So this one,
silly girl.
Like, she's obviously not happy about this situation being held there,
Yeah.
because he kind of takes her, like, away from everything.
Again, where's the hardship? Give me a library. I have read that one before. I did like that one quite a bit.
Oh, you did read it?
I did read that one,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, yeah. So, okay. So my next trigger that I look for in my shopping list of dark romances is stalking. Because
Yes, that's a good one.
duh. This is Stalking with a side of mental health issues, so I really like this one. But this one is For the Love of Layla, and this is by Callie Moss. So I read this one a few weeks ago. This one was really good. This is about Layla and Liam. So Liam has like bought her company. He's a billionaire, and she has went to work for him for a short period of time before they started dating. It's like her boss's boss's boss kind of a thing. Well, her boss hit on her and was like, being inappropriate with her. And so Liam went to go take care of that situation in the way only a psychopath can. And she walked in on that situation and she was not happy. So she broke it off with him. Well, he wasn't going to take no for an answer because he's a good guy like that. So he manipulates the situation and stalks her and watches her to make sure that she's safe and that she's sleeping well at night. He might climb in bed with her when she's out because he bought her a dog. The dog's trained to love him, so the dog doesn't alert to anything. And he just really wants to be around her and get her back. And we do that in a lot of unhealthy ways. So, but he also kind of makes her think that she's crazy. So, oopsie. Still good. It was great. It was amazing.
So my next one is Where There's a Will by Ember Hughes. And this trigger for this one is captive, but it's not captive. He is taken captive, and it has
Yes.
some very, very dark themes in it. So just check those triggers for any of the books that we recommend, because we're just talking about some of our favorites, but there are like very serious triggers in this one and many of the other books we're talking about. So this is Kenley. Kenley and Colton are like high school sweethearts. They've grown up together and they are very much in love. They've planned out their whole life when Kenley abruptly breaks up with Colton and he has no idea why. And he is so devastated that he basically graduates from high school and packs up and leaves. And then we fast forward several years later when Colton gets a call from his sister saying that their father has passed away. And he has somehow lost part of their farm. And so Colton and his best friend come back to town to try and figure out what's going on. And he knows he's going to end up seeing Kenley, but he doesn't really know how all of that is going to go. And so he goes over to her house to confront his dad because somehow, or not his dad, her dad, Kenley's dad has some mixings in with the farm, and it makes no sense to him or his sister. Like, their dad would not do this and he doesn't understand what's going on. So he goes over there to confront him. And the next thing he knows is he wakes up in a basement, chained up, and Kenley comes down and brings him some food and water and kind of takes care of him, but she is mute and will not speak to him. She's selectively mute, and she, like, what more do I say at this point without giving other, like, starting to give the plot away? So that's where this ends up. And so you have that trigger of captive, but it is not captive captor.
No.
Dun,
Captor,
dun,
Captive,
dun.
no. And the next book in that series is coming out, the second book, the last book in it.
Yes.
But I think it got moved to early April.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Because she has another release coming April 3rd.
Yeah, I know it's
Daisy
coming.
Jane is Ember Hughes. So the second book is coming, but Daisy Jane, under her pen name Daisy Jane, she has a book coming on April 3rd.
Yeah,
So I
because I
think
know
this
she said
one
she
is
was
coming later.
in the middle of edits and that she'd get it to me right away. So it's coming. It's coming.
All right. What is your next trigger?
Somnophilia.
Of course it is.
Of course it it is. I mean, come on, it's awesome. So the next one I have is Attempting Arrangement by Jay Wilder, who is also known as Jessa Wilder. That is her other pen name that she writes under. So this is a billionaire dark romance. It also has the stalker situation. It has a forced marriage situation. Like, it's got all the good stuff. So this is about Misty and Damon. So Misty works for Damon. Damon is obsessed with Misty. She's bright and cheerful and fun. And he's being told that he is going to inherit the business, the family business, but he has to get married. And the question is, who really made that rule? Because, you know, he's a little on the crazier side. So who really made that rule? And so Misty, being his assistant, is like, yeah, I'll set some women up. We'll figure it out because it has to be done like within a matter of weeks. When Damon finds out that, oh, no, she's from Canada, she's running from something, and her visa has just expired. And because he's her new direct boss, he has to sign off on her visa. Well, by God, the only way he's going to do that is if she agrees to marry him. So, you know, it doesn't sound dark, but trust me, there are a lot of dark themes in this book. It just doesn't sound very dark from my description, but trust me, it's dark. It's dark. It's great. There's audio for it now. It's great.
All right, so my next one is called Reckless Obsession by Deborah Garland. I just read it and I debated whether or not to put it in here, but it just fits so perfectly that I decided to go ahead and put it in. So this trigger is stalker and obsessive, okay? So we have Jillian. Jillian is a lawyer, and her and Owen often battle it out as attorneys in the courtroom against each other. And she is kind of defeated over a recent turn of events in the courtroom. And so she goes out kind of getting drunk, and she runs into Owen. And from there, they end up doing like a little quick hookup. And Owen then becomes obsessed with her. So he starts stalking her to the point where he like gets access to her apartment. He gets access to her phone. He blocks her dating app so she doesn't get any responses from anyone. And then he sets up a fake dating app profile as himself and then wears a mask so he could go and do things with her without her knowing it's him. And he continues to stalk her like obsessively. It is the best. I mean, like, the man wears a mask so he can stalk her as somebody else and have hookups with her without her knowing. It is amazing. Loved it so much. But he is part of the Mafia. And oh, I should have probably said this before I switched over. He is part of the Mafia. And so he has like there's a whole dangerous element to who he is, and he's kind of bringing her into his world, which is going to put her at risk.
Okay.
Really
all
good.
right. So you ready for my last one?
Yes.
My last trigger.
Yes.
And that would
I'm
be
on pins and needles.
I know. That would be branding. I love it when the hero brands the heroine in some way, shape, or form. So I have Veiled in Hate by BJ Alpha. I haven't talked about this one in quite a while. This is an arranged marriage, a forced marriage by both parties. They're both forced into the situation, but it's also a mafia. So this is about Luca and Camille. So Luca and Camille are parts of they're in two rival mafias. The Luca believes that Camille's twin brother murdered his sister. So Luca then went on a killing spree of Camille's family because that's what you do. And so they both hate each other. Like, they hate each other. They're enemies. And so the heads of the two mafias come together and they're like, you guys will sit your buns down and you will get married. And that way this war will end and we'll get a union out of all of it. Like, we'll just get this working relationship between our two mafias. And so that is what happens. The couples for both of the mafias force them into this marriage. They hate each other. Like, it gets to a point where Camille overhears Lucas saying that he would never have children with her because he would never soil his blood with hers or taint his bloodline with hers. Like, they really hate each other. when they finally figure out that they do kind of like each other a little ways, like it's way into there. There's some branding that happens during some of the hate sex. So, I love this. This is my favorite BJ Alpha book to date. So loved it, loved it, loved it. So good.
Okay.
Okay, what's your last
So
one?
while you really enjoy Captor Captive, I
I do.
apparently enjoy Captive that has a different, not the Captor.
Uh-huh.
So
I
this
enjoy Stockholm Syndrome.
so this is another captive, excuse me, where the captor is not going to be our hero.
Okay.
So okay, so I have Hope Rising by Vanessa Sheets. This one is, oh, all of these books are incredible that we're
Yes.
talking about. So Grace is abducted, but when she gets abducted, she does not know that she is pregnant. So she's already 3 months pregnant when she is kidnapped by this horrible, horrible man who holds her in this house. He does unspeakable things to her, and she ends up having the baby in captivity. Her daughter is now 2 years old. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Play with flames.
That was my thick Russian accent.
Okay.
Come on, Goose is in here. Goose,
Are you
out.
calling him?
You want him in?
No, take him.
Come on, out.
Oh my gosh.
Out.
Goose, why are you hiding?
Run, out, out. Where'd he go?
He's behind the thing. Okay, he can just stay, I guess. He'll just hop up in the chair. Okay. So we fast forward, and her daughter is now about 2 years old, and she realizes she has got to get out of this situation. They live kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and one day somebody buys the house that's next door to them, and she realizes this man might be her only help of getting out of here, and this is Declan. And so she plots and comes up with a plan, and she takes her daughter and she runs. And Declan then becomes her savior because he gets her out of there, and he doesn't even realize it. Like he just becomes a part of the plan, and he gets her out of there. And from there we have this very emotional journey of her recovery, of her and Declan's love story. And it's incredibly heartbreaking journey because Declan also is dealing with a lot of his own demons, and it is just fantastic. Absolutely loved it.
All right. So that's it. That's our trigger warning shopping list. I mean, there's others. I could have added others. We just had to narrow it down a little bit. So,
Yes.
yeah. All right,
I
guys.
flagged a ton of stuff in my journals, and then somehow I still ended up picking like basically the same thing over and over again. So my bad. Enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. And I looked at mine and I was like, there'd be times like, is that a trigger or is that a trope?
I know that was hard. And some of the things, some triggers like really aren't appropriate for like a favorite.
Oh, this is my
trigger.
favorite. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
anyhow, so that's what you got though, guys. So there you go.
Yes.
All right. Hopefully you love all of this. Don't forget to check those triggers, but yeah. There you go.
All right. Make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us. And don't forget to hit that notification button. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks
wait,
for
that's
watching.
your line.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, it's all good. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.